Good afternoon, everyone. Hey, hope y'all are ready to go flying with Mike. Little bit of a interesting day going on in the background. You may or may not hear. I'm hoping on the may not hear it. Our neighbors next door are still working on their work they have going on in their yard. A lot of heavy equipment over there. So hopefully that doesn't bleed through and come over the stream. If not, we'll turn the volume up. That's not how you do it in the stream world. But anyway, we'll adapt and overcome like we always do. But again, welcome aboard. Today we're back in the A319, flying for Allegiant. We haven't flown for them in a while, folks. And I thought, what the heck? Let's do a nice little hop over to our new chiefs, where his stomping grounds were out there in Bentonville, Fayetteville, Springboro, and Bentonville, Arkansas. No, that's not the name of the airport. It's actually Northwest Arkansas National Airport. Should be, because you know what? It's just about the same length on a sign as what I just said earlier, but we're heading out basically into the Ozarks, folks. And if you're not familiar with that in the United States, it's a cluster of, we call them mountains here. Most people would call them hills because they come from the Swiss Alps or Alaska or the Rockies or somewhere very mountainous. And it's still, don't get me wrong, these are some pretty impressive mountains/hills, whatever you want to call them. I used to drive a truck up and down 72, I think it was, from Joplin, Missouri down to Fort Smith, and I'm here to tell you, folks, there's some crazy roads there. I'm sure you all have your own stories as well, but to me, this guy that's, for the most part, flat country, wow. I mean, hairpin turns that were a hairpin into a hairpin turn, that they literally put signs up on this road telling you how many dead this year in that curve. That's never a good sign. But like I said, I'm sure those of you that live out in those mountainous areas have roads similar, if not worse. If anything, they're longer grades and longer hills than what I had to endure. Today, from what I understand, talking with some friends of mine still on the road, a lot of that hairpinish, real nail-biting into your steering wheel type turns straightened out for a nice interstate or tunneled through, as interstates in the United States love to do to mountains. So, but that's a totally different form of transportation. We're going to fly over it into Northwest Arkansas Airport. So again, Allegiance, the chariot to lead us, and we are flying today with Millennium Aviation Company, otherwise known as Mac Air, formed by, yes, the streamer Captain Mac. And boy, I'm going to tell you, he put together a really good VA. Folks, if you hit the exclamation mark Mac Air, as you see in the title, it'll bring up a link for you to go over and check it out and see if it's, you know, what you're into. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's a phenomenal group of people there, phenomenal setup. They're in a flux of updating the look and some of the Acre software that we use for flight recording, and looks to be amazing. If you haven't seen some of his latest streams, he's using that. They are beta testing it, so looking forward to bringing it on board here when it becomes available. General pilot group there. So, but anyway, that's enough here, folks. Let's get into that cockpit and let's get this show on the road, since I am about an hour later than I'd like to be on days when I come off shift. Oh, excuse me. I just didn't want to, I don't know, I got into a little bit of a nap and just didn't want to get out of it. So All right, so let's see here. Into the cockpit we go. And yes, like I said, it's an A319. And if you're curious and this is X-Plane 12 before those begin to ask. If you're looking for a phenomenal aircraft to fly, folks, the A319 from ToLiss will not let you down. It is, I mean, top notch. It's got a lot of bells and whistles. The McDo is loaded up and ready to go for you. I mean, if you're looking for realism, those of you that fly in the Microsoft side, who love as real as it can get, folks, you've got the PMDG aircraft of the Microsoft world. Well, that comes in the name of ToLiss in X-Plane. They just put spectacular aircraft out there, very realistic. Some real Airbus pilots who stream talk of working their check rides, getting some, practicing those failures and stuff they do using this aircraft. So that's pretty good endorsement there of how real and how good it is. So for me, I enjoy it. I enjoy learning stuff about it every day, every time we take it up. That and the A320neo. Haven't stepped yet into the fray of the A321, and I think it does have a neo as well here at ToLiss. But folks, these are great aircraft. Really, if you're into that, this is where. And I know you're going, my gosh, it's an Airbus, though. Folks, I'm here to tell you, Airbus, is in airlines like Delta. It is in American. It is in, obviously, Allegiant. So many more. JetBlue, Spirit, Frontier. I can keep listing them off. Alaska. So just about every airline in the United States, United even has them, because I know I missed them, has them. I wonder why. Very good aircraft. And for us streamers who are not as up on aircraft like the real pilots better be, it's easy for us to learn and just have a ball flying them. So, and if you do the really short routes, and I'm going to give you one off the top of my head: St. Louis, Chicago, St. Louis, Nashville, St. Louis, Memphis, St. Louis, Kansas City. Folks, they're going to keep you entertained. Speaking of Nashville, that's where we're sitting, gate B12. So let's get into this in pre-flight and get going, because I know y'all don't like my jibber jabber when we're on the ground. All right, so we're going to use Sim Toolkit as always. Just getting it pulled up here. Well, that's the wrong one. Let's get the right one. I happen to be right below that scene. Sorry, folks. No, we are not ending the stream. Some are saying you ought to. Just kidding. We're not going to. All right, Sim Toolkit, another great product, folks. Get ready for this, folks. I hope you're sitting down. And if you're a flight simmer, you'll know why I say it that way. It's free. Yeah, there isn't many things out there that we can say in the flight sim world that's free. Although I think more in X-Plane than others. But to that end, there really is, it's hard to get something free, especially with all the stuff this offers. So check it out, folks. Go check out Sim Toolkit. Gives you a lot of tools. We're going to use some of them right now. We do have a flight planning tool we've already used, but that can be already set up in another free application, SimBrief, which, oddly enough, I can put in down here. So, really, overall, great program, great products to go with it. And like I said, we'll go through them here. Let's take a look at the load sheet. We're running pretty heavy today. Well, heavy is a subjective term, I know. We got a pretty full cabin back there, 136 peeps. The flight attendants right now are going through and having them sign their NDAs, so they can't complain about how bad the flight goes. Payload is 29,920 pounds, and the zero fuel weight is 119,900 pounds. So in the world of A319s, it's kind of a heavy load. Fuel, 13,826 pounds. And dispatch has graciously given us a cost index of 35 and a flight level of 36,000 today. So overall, looks like we're going to have a good flight. You can see our departure runways 2 right down here. Up here above the airport data is our routing. And as soon as the loose nut behind the stick gets rid of the load sheet, you can kind of get a feel how we're going here. So pretty much we're going to climb. I think we can climb straight out from Nashville. So that's why our top of climb is this far back. But Walnut Ridge in Arkansas, and then right after it for the most part, then we start back down. It's a short flight, folks. It's about an hour in length once we get wheels up. And no, I'm not going to keep the wheels down until we're just outside. So see, it was an hour flight. But no, we're going to have fun on this. We always do. All right. And just to give you an idea, remember I talked about airfield altitudes. The altitude here in Nashville, well, that loose nut didn't get that information. Stand by. It is right over here, 599 feet. Call it, hey, I'm easy. Round it up, 600. Elevation, 1,288 feet. So you can see we're going just a little bit higher country than where we're starting. Not much, but if you were down in the ground and going through the all the fun of the Ozarks, you would see why I say it is fun. I enjoyed every time I got to drive out there. So, and I enjoy flying in there too. We're going to try and get some more flights keyed up for the Ozark territories. All right, so another interesting thing we can do here is pull our weather up. If VATSIM happens to be up in our area, which right now it is not, and let's say Memphis came up, because I think this whole flight is in Memphis territory, Center's territory. Say they threw an HODJS up at Nashville, they'll always usually have one at Memphis and other airports. You would see that up here. But that's the only way you see HODJS up here, is if VATSIM provides it. Now on SimBrief, if the airport provides it to whatever it is that produces it for the flight sim world, or makes it available, then we can pick it up that way, and I'll show you that in a second. But the METAR here in the place where we're departing, Nashville, the guitar, 350 at 5, 10 miles of visibility, and a ceiling. Ceiling, when we talk about that's very important, folks. When you're in instrument conditions, a 6,500 foot ceiling isn't all that bad, because technically a VFR pilot can fly. Ceilings are basically anytime the weather is reported as broken for the clouds or overcast. That sets a ceiling. Now granted, there could be 5 of them after that for different levels of cloudiness. But that lowest one with either broken or, oh, well, if it says overcast, there isn't anything usually above it. But that's your ceiling. So when it gets down under 1,000 feet, then things begin to become fun for us flight simmers, because now we're going to be in the clouds most of the time on the approach or departure. So just something to put in the back of your mind there, what the ceiling is. When you hear that word, what are we talking about? What determines a ceiling? It's not going to be few clouds. It's not going to be scattered, but it's going to be BKN, which is short for broken. OVC for overcast. Those will set your ceilings. Okay, and then over there in Arkansas, it's a westerly wind at 8-10 miles of visibility and a few clouds here and there. That could change as you see these blobs of storms out here. They are working their way towards that airport, so that could come into play here. All right, so I mentioned another way to get the HODJS. So you bring up SimBrief. This is what it looks like. Since I've already generated a flight plan, all I got to do is click View, and this is that flight plan. Now, couple neat things. By the way, it's free, folks. Just got to go over, sign up for it. It's free. You get this nice chart right with you no matter where you're scrolling. So you can always see what you're doing. But then you got this neat little interactive icon up here. You can click this thing that looks like a cloud, and that's what it's going to do, is put up the significant weather around you, which really there isn't, as well as jet streams. That's this solid line. Areas of turbulence, areas of significant weather, which those green blobs do constitute significant weather. Then I can click this one that looks like a raindrop, and guess what it shows? Raindrops or precipitation. So you can see what I was talking about. You got this blob we can see. Then you got this blob not far away, and this stuff is moving east to southeast heading. It's basically a front that backdoored through where I live here at St. Louis and pushing southwestward. So yeah, it's kind of weird, but basically all it is the back end of the front swooping through and pushing, that way. So all right, so then you've got your flight plan information here, which we can also pull up from SimToolkit itself, but you've got it handy here if you need it. And here's where you would get that same data, just in a different. Some of the formats that you can generate in SimBrief don't look this nice. Some are really difficult. So you have to kind of play in what's comfortable to you. I happen to really like the American Airline. Oh, sorry for the yawn in your ears, folks. Oh my God, sorry about that. But I really like this American Airlines format. I don't know if it's a specific one. They've had it for years. I don't know. Really good. All the way to the bottom. Let me just take you through it all. They have this neat little, a lot of them won't give you the data that prompted all of that up again. So like here, we have 136 peeps, nobody in the laps. That's actually important, folks, because when, if something bad happens and the fire department's trying to find out how many people are on board, okay, 136, yeah, we got them. But if there's 1 or 2 laps, those are infants under the age of 2, I believe it is. And yeah, you just missed 2 bodies. Possibly, unless you have the 2 infants, and now you have 2 other people that are unaccounted for. So, and they do not go into your total count. So it goes in as like a 136 plus 2. So today we aren't running with any. It would also tell you your cargo weight. So to me, that is one and American Airlines virtual, I think, spearheaded to get that updated in there. And they're updating the one for United that they use in the Piedmont virtual side of their house. I don't know. I thought I saw something, and I could be, folks, I've worked a lot of shifts. Not really. I shouldn't blame it on that because I really haven't done a lot. But I just sometimes feel pretty run down, and I just may jumble everything together. So, but anyway, there's our pre-flight, so you have an idea what we're doing. All right, I've wasted a lot of time, so let's get this plane rolling, shall we? We do have the EPU on already, so let's continue on. We are fueled and ready to go. We're going to go ahead and get our, well, let's just work our way up. Okay, going through here. All right, so we'll turn this to nav, get the on-bat, make sure it goes off. Reason you look for that, folks, is in case you lose your engine generators, then you switch to APU to get a generator there and you don't have that available. Guess what? Your navigation data is still on bat. That's what that says, on bat. So your batteries are working for it. And then I move this to status so that when we go back down, you'll see it on the one of the RCAMs or ECAMs there to tell you, hey, how many minutes you have left. Okay, so coming on down here, we've got the cockpit lights set, probe heat is showing off. And by the way, was it the last flight or the flight before that? We had a flight where everything seemed to be lit up. What that was, folks, is I actually moved the plane back trying to see if that would work to get another jetway to work, and it screwed up the way the panel was. And when I flew, just flew for fun after it, after the stream and after things here in the house, just something to do, voila, it's back to the dark like it should be. Not completely, but for the most part it is. Like it should in an Airbus. That was really weird, and things are back to normal. Okay, so the air conditioning panel looks good, no white lights. Crossbleed set to auto, and finally the temperatures, we'll put them in the middle for now. Actually, I want to go ahead and run it a little. Am I on the cold side? Yeah, just making sure. External power has already been disconnected. The fault lights for the generators are there, and we've got the ADIRs in nav right now, aligning. Strobe lights, auto. Nav lights, we're going to run on 2 this flight. Fuel's on, emergency lights armed. We've checked our lights. We're landing elevation is set to auto. The rest of our cockpit lighting is set how I want it. And seat belts, we already did that. Pack flow is set. We're running a heavy load of people, so we got that set up high. And fuel pumps coming on. Finally, the radios are 3 is on. McDo's are on, and 1 and 2 are on. All right, so we are ready to go. Let's pull up a McDo and get to flight planning. All right, so RNAC cycle 2305 is good. The only thing, like I always say with Airbus, if I had to give them a knock, I wish it would tell me the validation dates. When is it due to update? To a pilot, well, they got to know. Are they running on the latest? Good Lord, I forgot to get rid of. Forgot to do this. Oh, welcome in Antonio Cano. I got kicked out of a plane because the captain said I was not fit to travel. Nope, that's not, well, that wasn't this guy. Not flying with your company again. Oh, okay. Well, my bad. I can't speak for flight crews, sir. There are rules out there they go by. Remember, they've got, in this case, if this was your flight back then, 136 people they got to worry about. So whatever they determine, I can't tell you what the reasoning would be, but yeah, sorry to hear that, and Um, unfortunately, it will happen again sometimes to other people. So my apologies, I'll say, but I'm not with Allegiant or any airline, so just with an airport. So sorry to hear that when you get stories like that. All right, let's do init. Oop. And I'm just going to do this. I'm not going to go to data. I You're more than welcome to stay here, sir. More than welcome to stay aboard. All right, let's see. Let me pull up charts real quick. What we're going to do is narrow down our lat long for this gate. We're in gate B12, which is 36.08. 8.0 and 8640.4. Whoops. Got to click over there then. Okay, one time 36.08 dot 08640.4. Perfect. Align. Winds. And we'll go back to it. Let me get rid of this for now. Okay, next up after we get the init page is F-plan. Now, if you get this put into SimBrief, generate the flight plan. When you hit init request, it reaches out to SimBrief, draws in that flight plan if you have filled out on the ToLiss, which again you find right here under plugins, ToLiss, Open Ice SCS screen. And you go to sound and add-on accounts. You can put in SimBrief, and the ID is not what you log in with. It's an ID you got to go in and find. The manual for this airplane really helps you find that numeric account number you have, ID. Then you can figure these out. And then if you want the CPDLC, and don't ask me what that stands for because I do not know off the top of my head, you can put that in here as well. It's limited. I've only had it connect once to a controller and we never used it. So I don't know how great or how good that is, but it is what it was. So, but that's how that works. It'll also pull your performance if you want from SimBrief so they match, but I prefer to whatever it comes with when I set it up. Okay, and as we've talked about our flight plan today, hang on, is the departure of runway 2 right. And we are going to be on the Pardon. Here, let me let you all see that real quick. Pardon 3 departure, I think it is. Oh, I just passed it. Transition is HODJS. Is that correct? HODJS. Okay, and then we'll insert. Obviously, we have a vectoring section here. So we'll take off here on 2 right, heading 21. Looks like we could almost go direct Kello. Oh, no, we can't, because here's the airport. Yeah, the image there caught my eye wrong. So we'll loop around to Kello. We'll leave that until we're either cleared direct or we're able to turn. Okay, and let's switch to land, and that should be good. The formula I use to calculate a departure, I use whatever SimBrief gives me, or the climb rate is whatever the plane gives me. I know I'm supposed to know that in the seat. I remember that from my commercial training. But the rate of climb, the rate of climb, that I can show you. For this one, I have to read this chart to clear the obstacles, but basically, they're telling us we got to be no higher than 4,000, and here's our ground speeds, 500 feet per nautical mile. So we're probably, so it's right in here. Okay, so what are we doing here? Let's push up. Sure, we're Kello, Arden, and then HODJS. Okay, there's Kello, Arden, out to HODJS. And again, 4,000 initially, and then they'll give us after 5 minutes from departure. So that's why you want to either start this chrono or the other, so you know when you hit that 5 minutes so you can start kicking it up. That comes pretty, it feels like a long, man, 5 minutes takes forever. Folks, when you get this plane moving, that 5 minutes seems to go in a snap. I mean, it's unreal. At least for this guy, it does. All right, so that takes care of the departure. Now, from HODJS, let me get the map to move here. We are going to go to ARG, and then to a Razorback. Pretty tough flight planning, folks. And that looks good. And then we run into the conundrum. We're now out at Arkansas. All right, I've actually done the hard part. Uh-oh, hang on a second, folks. Oh, okay. All right, I thought we had something coming in. We do not. All right, I got a text, and sometimes when text messages lately come in, it's usually something's up. All right, so we selected arrivals. We're on what we're going to shoot. What I'm going to do here, let's take a quick break with charts. Go back to Sim Toolkit. Reason I want to do this. Let's bring up SimBrief. Now remember what I told you, we can pull up down here the departure and the arrival airport, get the details. We can get the weather. If there was an ATIS, it would be right here, and all of the NOTAMs. All right, for Northwest Arkansas, winds are still out of the west at 8, 10 miles of visibility. So we now know we're looking at a west, well, anywhere from 180 to 360 on a runway, potentially bending it over to 9. I mean, you could really, there's a lot you can do with this runway. So 280 is going to be the forecast, so that's good. Here's the thunderstorm activity. that could be here by 21Z. So right now we'll plan the westerly. Okay, let me get rid of Sim Toolkit, get charts back up here. I could have done it from there, but this way you can see it. All right, so what I did is planned the ILS for runway 34 right. Now, this airport does not have a standard arrival. That makes that part easy. But we do have, you can see these lovely transitions for the approach. We can come in from Lindsay, or one that's not really visible. Will it be visible if I push it out? No. War. And that's the one I'm going to go with. Let me pull that up for you. Oh. Okay, so we come into RZC, which is Razorback VOR. And basically, I'm going to go on to vectors here, come out and come into war and intercept. But what we're going to actually do is plan to go to war right after that. So, that's right, we're going to go to war, folks. Then temporarily insert it. And that's why the discontinuity hung. Because technically, I think if you're flying this in instrument, you're going to come off on a 204 to Lindsay and go out and then do a procedure turn back in, because they don't really show it. Wait a minute, there may be some. So, and then not authorized for arrivals at war on Victor 13 southbound. I wonder if there's a airway running right here, which then means I technically would not be allowed. Well, I chose it. We'll go with it. But what will happen is I'm going to make my turn and then intercept the ILS. All right, so we have that flight plan set up. Now, before we go much further, I am not going to set up departures and arrivals for Kansas City, because you can actually do that now, folks. Okay, so we'll go through it real quick, make sure no other discontinuities. And then a missed approach comes back to Lindsay, and we enter that hold. Let me be. So, missed approach, Lindsay at 3,400 feet. In a hold, we'll have to do a procedure turn to enter it. Okay, kicking on down. There's everything for the missed approach. And then this section is if we have to go to Kansas City. Again, you would go just basically departure 34 right. And actually, you can get the route to verify it up to Kansas City in SimBrief, and then to fly the Tiger. It looks like the Tiger arrival into Kansas City. I'm not going to worry about that right now, folks. I just want to get the plane going. So, and that's actually the end of the flight page. So, all right, let me reset that. And on the RadNav page, we're set up with the ILS just in case we have to come back. And then it's on to the init B page. Okay, so this is technically the page they call init A, where you put your route, your company route if you have one, your alternate and its company route, which we did get pulled from SimBrief, your flight number and all that good stuff. Now up here you see we have another page. Here's what we need to verify: our zero fuel weight and our zero fuel weight CG. Easiest way to do this, come over here to the EFB provided in the plane. Zero fuel weights 119.9, they match. Zero fuel weight center of gravity, ZFWCG, 28.6, 28.6. Block fuel matches, and everything looks good for the flight there. Only one step left to do, folks, and that's get the performance put in here. Now, there's a couple of ways to do this. You can go this way, click Takeoff Performance. Let me just get over here to Sky Vector, and currently it's 2984 in the Bentonville area, so we'll update that. Currently the temperature is 31. Now this is probably varied because the map or the METAR system in the up-to-date METARs that you can do in here are not truly up-to-date. They're close, but they're just not there yet. 280. I think it's set at 6 with gusts to 14. Up 9. I was close. 9. Okay, and runway 2. Dry. Everything looks good. Center of gravity's fine. And how long's our runway? Nope, we're toga. Said toga. Configuration, and we'll go with the air conditioning on to keep the people happy. Now, we'll compute it, and this will give us our data. Now, it says 109 to 133. If you have a wet runway, you want a little bit of variance there, folks, to be able to get that plane stopped on a slippery runway. Water isn't bad. I mean, it's gonna make it slick and make it a little tougher to slow down. But that's more aimed at when you start getting contaminated runways with ice, snow, and slush. Then you want that V1 number. That's your safety speed. So if you lose an engine or something major happens, you can reverse thrust, stop plane with maximum braking before going off the end. Some airports you go right into an intersection. I reference Chicago Midway. And that happened to Southwest. Unfortunately killed a kid. Okay, so that's one way to get these numbers right here. Another is click right here on the McDo, fill in the data. We said 280, and that's why I keep it right here at 9. Let's try it. 29. You got to put the point in. 29. 0.84. Is that correct? 29.84. $10.10. And now I want to find out, is that right? So what I'll do is come over here, dial it down, 1011. Haha. Wait, it just switched. So it must be real close. Okay, so once you have that in, now if your runway's dry, wet, or contaminated, you have up-down arrows to use to switch it. We're dry, we'll leave it. All right, and you can't change the temperature, unfortunately. Okay, this is a toga takeoff. If we wanted to, and I think conditions are able to pull back the power a little bit on the takeoff and do a flex where you flex the power on it. Basically, instead of maximum 100 plus on the engine, you're pulling it back into the 90s. Possibly in some aircraft you can get it into the upper 80s percentage thrust and get plenty of power to take off, climb, to your cruise altitude. In this case, I'm going toga, 8,000 foot. It's a bit warm and muggy at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, I had to think what time zone the guitar was in. And the guitar, by the way, is trucker slang for Nashville. And then we just insert it, and voila, it's done. So 133, 133, 137, and it's ready to go, folks. All right, and we are too. We've been on the ground way too long. Let's get this thing in the air. What do you say? All right. Final checks here as I get Mac Air firing up the ACARS program. I always wait till I get all my performance numbers, all the fuel in there, so there is no chance that it can hit me for tankering or air refueling for fuel. All right, so just waiting on Mac Air to load up here. It loaded pretty quick a couple days ago. Current bits, it did that again today. Apply the bid. Okay. Fire up. All right, I'm going to go ahead and set the sound so they'll be somewhat synced with us. And V2 of 137. Save that. And basically, folks, this is set up, I believe, K-Cars or Smart Cars. One of those two, this ACARS system is based off of. It looks like this. So, actually, I want to move that out of the way a little bit. That's kind of annoying where it's at. There we go. A little better. So this is what we have, folks, and what I have to do is go in here, fill it out. Now we're going to be in the Allegiant. They don't have an Allegiant, I believe, when they set all these aircraft up. Allegiant was transitioning from the MD Trash 80s to the Airbus family, A319, A320, primarily 320s at the time, and that's why they didn't put that livery in. So, but we're just going to head for the A319s. And there was one I wanted to request. Couldn't find it real quick. Probably went by the one I wanted to use. Oh, we're way past it. And unfortunately, you can't see this list because I don't know how to bring it up. That's a good one to use. There's one people haven't seen in a while. Okay, and I have to adjust my altitude. All right, and okay, just take that check mark off and hit start. Really, not that painful, was it, folks? And now it's doing the recording of your pushback, your takeoff, your landing, your in time when you're into the blocks, your fuel, your distance, all of that it's recording to put in there easily when you get to the other end. Oh, excuse me. So here we go. In the center, we need to make sure the flight directors are on, and they both are. Go ahead and click LS constraints in case we have to come back. We've got our ILS already dialed in. ARC, I'm going to dial to 20, VOR, ARC 40, VOR, and then our speed. When the dot is there with the hash marks, folks, like it is for your heading and your speed. It's in what's called managed mode, meaning when you kick the autopilot on, it's ready to pick up where you are and what you've set up in the McDo. Speaking of which, just happen to look down here and see I need to put that one on F plan. Okay. And then we got to set our altitude. Top altitude right now is 4, so we'll set that. And again, managed. So as soon as we go, it'll climb up, level off, and maintain 250. Okay, after that, we need to make sure the anti-skid switch is on, along with nose wheel steering. It's a combined switch. Timer is set, date is set and ready. And switching panel, which is right here, pretty hard to find. The word switching is right there, is set to 12 o'clock. And then come on down here and go ahead and get our transponder on. And we're ready to go, folks. So what I'm going to do is go right back down here and get things ready to close up. This is a neat tool, works off your mechanic. You saw all that it can do, from de-icing to your external power, which we can turn off, to high power. Ooh, I can get low power air. Ooh, I didn't know that. Ooh. I could use that next time. To your pushback if you don't have better pushback, to your fuel amount. You can load your, well, I try to load my cargo here, and you can open and close the doors, put them in auto, and they automatically open when you get the requirements met. Of course, don't forget to click load. Likewise, attendant, ATT, we can do the same thing. I'm going to put them back to auto. We can arm the doors here once pushed back, and you can set your passenger load. In the A320neo, you can actually work the cockpit light or the lighting as well. All right, we are ready to go, folks, and you can see on the map here, all the doors are closed, slides are ready to be armed. I say, let's get flying with Mike. Interesting, if you see it, it's hard. We're on a slope. So we got to be kind of careful here because it will roll, folks. I've rolled into the grass. So, okay, let me connect up. What the heck are we? Okay, AAY 360 A319 connecting. All right, and we are online now with VATSIM and ready to push back. So, let's use better pushback. What do you say? How about I do this? Meant to go.
Ground to cockpit, please show me where you want to go. Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
All right, all we got left to do is hit that beacon.
Nashville traffic expected 144 departing runway 02 right.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
Can't tell if American is pushing or not. Or if they're rolling backwards. We've done that before, folks. It's kind of funny to look up, why am I in the grass? But again, hey, welcome aboard. I know it's been just about an hour we've been on, and we're getting ready to push back. If you like what you've seen so far, hey, smash that follow button. We'd love for you to join us.
And bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
All right. Now, the reason I delayed on this, I want to get down here now. We'll release the chocks. Now we'll come get the parking brake. But yeah, if you would, hit that follow button, folks. We'd love to see you on our next flight. It'd be nice here. Hang on. Nashville traffic, Allegiant 360 pushing back B12 to taxi to 2 right. And we forgot to pull the jetway. Oh well. Alright, who's behind us? There's nobody behind us. Unless that's that Airbus. It must be that Airbus over there. Okay. Alright, let's light this firecracker up. Move the switch to ignition switch to ignition. Number 2 gets the call first today. And that's it, folks. I did that last time. Dang it, hang on. Got to turn the bleed air on. There we go.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Brake set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
All right, folks. We're also standing by for engine 2 to fire up. We'll get the actual word avail here. And then we'll commence to getting number 1 cranked up. Now, there is a way, and you real pilots know it, to find out if you have the APU air bleed on or not. It will put pressure down here, folks. Avail. And we'll start up number 1 now. All right, folks, again, thank you for supporting the channel, being a part today.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has
And
been
hopefully
removed.
we can get a little better at
We'll
this.
see you next time. Have a safe flight.
And thanks for flying with Mike. Better pushback. See you next time. Hopefully we'll get a little better as we go. But yeah, missing that first step is always a good start. All right, so we're just waiting now. Once we're up here on the numbers and it says avail, which looks like should happen any minute now, I'm going to start the chrono. Technically, it's a 3-minute warm-up. However, in 20 whatever it was degree weather, we're pretty warm probably to start. We'll go anyway. Let's see. Got to start down here, but to switch back to norm. And then come up top, the switch we forgot. We can turn off again the APU bleed. Come back down to the bottom, pop the spoilers to arm. Just simply pull the spoiler lever up, flaps to 1. And I'm going to just transition to 2 steps here instead of the 1. What we're doing here is setting the trim, which is this value right here. And again, it is for 0.4 up. And right now it says up 0.0. We just want it to read the same. There's 0.2, 3.4 right there. Okay. I also check my surfaces at this point. Okay, all the surfaces have been checked. And then I'll just kind of run around, make sure what I call a freedom of movement, which we've already done, but hey, can't check this enough, folks. You really can't. A couple of big corporate crashes occurred because they didn't do this check in a hurry, and the gust locks were still in on the surfaces. Yeah. Went to pull, and guess what? They didn't go anywhere. All right, engine ice. We're not going to worry about that, but we're going to turn the APU off. Yeah, it was nice. Let them. Okay, APU. Now we'll get those slides armed. And those will. Okay, so we've got auto brake, cabin status, nose wheel light, taxiway or parking brake off. What are they called? Taxiway turn-off lights, runway turn-off lights. Laps time to run. Test, and we're green. We're brakes off, and we're rolling. And Nashville traffic, Allegiant 360, taxi to 2 right. He says cautiously, making sure the Airbus is still in its slot. All right, so we are on our way, folks. I'll clear the other timer here in a minute. Get straightened out here to give me just enough time. There are actually procedures for how you're supposed to travel on back here with, I guess they got a lot of construction going on. I don't know. But there is a chart for that. If you have NavGraph charts, you have it all right there at your fingertips. Again, can be mated to Sim Toolkit, so you all one-stop shop for all what you need. Turn that down if you all don't mind. Well, if I do my normal type of flying there, Antonio, the kids will get screaming even more once I get going. Oh, did I say that out loud? As the airplane whips and bangs, and and then you might need another vodka. All right, hang on a second here. Can I cross over? All right, cabin's ready. We're ready. Final checks here. Let's get the terrain radar on the first officer side. Weather radar on our side. We'll go this way, bring it down. And potential wind shear. I think I found where the hump is. Oh, we gotta go downhill pretty good here. Really wonder if it looks like, sometimes if it looks like this in real life. Sorry, folks. Oh, that looks like me trying to stop one time here. They left the memorial up for it. The other Sim Caesar was here, doing his donuts in the airplanes after landing. All right, we just got to get down to the end. Final checks before takeoff. Transponders set, brake temperatures look good. Yep, I don't see anything in the red. Engine mode as required. I think we'll stay normal for this one. Turn off lights on. Landing lights will come on. Nose wheel light will go to takeoff. Yeah, we'll go to takeoff here as soon as we get down there. You know, all the times I've been through Nashville when I used to drive a truck, I do not ever think I came near the airport. I've seen the exits and all that good stuff, but I've never been to the airport, so that's one I'd like to see. Tell you the one I really like is Vegas. The approaches into there, if you get lucky for the 1s or the 1.9s, especially it looks like, I've never done it, the 1.9 approaches, the RNAVs. Oh, those look cool. You turn, it's like you fly to the Space Needle, turn to the left and line up for the runway about a mile or two out, if that. All right. And Nashville traffic, Allegiant 360 departing runway 2 right. TCAS is clear. So are we, and clear for takeoff. Lights on. Lights are on, and we are ready to go. Let's see if we can do a justice, a nice rolling takeoff.
Nashville traffic, Delta 2322 holding short, to right, Nashville.
50%. And lined up, Toka. All right. Speeds alive and verified. V1.
V1, rotate. V2.
Gear up, positive rate. Gear up. All right, we are on our way out of here, folks. Forgot to do that on one flight. All right, we are airborne, and let's get those spoilers unarmed.
Nashville traffic, Delta 2322 departing to right, Nashville.
All right, let's go direct. All right, and all right, we're gonna go ahead. Oh, that I did not want. Did you do that, computer? Cleared up to 36,000. Okay, we're on our way, folks. Hope you enjoyed that one. All right, folks, we are on our way. Hope you enjoy, and we're about to clear 10,000 feet, and at that point, we'll get the landing lights kicked off and continue on. Currently looking at 1 hour, 18 minutes. Watch that time as we get up to 36. It will start to drop. 10,000. Okay. On we go as we push for 36,000. Sim toolkit. Think lost connection. Hang on, let's go and refire it up, see what happens. Oh, Delta, who is following us? We have somebody following us. Wow, that is awesome. Step page.
18,000 feet.
Alright, let me get back here to doing some things. 18,000 feet, a couple things happen. We'll turn the wing lights off and we'll go to standard on our altimeter settings. And then away we go. Well, that is awesome. That is just truly awesome. We have somebody out for the fun of it. We appreciate you back there. A lot of broken cloudiness here. All right, sometime this month, folks, XP12 will release 0.06, I think is how that's read, 0.6. And supposedly, in notes that I read when they released last one, what they began to work with, the pyramids we see in the clouds, that's something they're working on. I don't know if they said, if I can remember if they said they fixed it or not, but more importantly, they're going to introduce cirrus cloudiness. So instead of these thicker clouds up here, although don't get me wrong, they are at altitudes like this, you're going to get more of that cirrus look to them. So I'm really looking forward to that part of it, and of course the other updates they do. But with this last update, we flew a flight back in Lent season from the goal was Skagway to where will we go? Skagway to Sitka, then Sitka to Anchorage, I think is what we were doing. I can't remember anyway. Skagway had a massive ski jump in it, and a person with the X-Plane Scenery folks got a hold of the video and went, whoa. We had to do some interesting things with the King Air to get it to fly. And then two, Anchorage had a huge dip on the 7 right, and that's been flattened out, as we saw on a flight a few days ago. If you haven't seen it, it's Anchorage to Fairbanks, and I do plan to fly that back. Try some of the ramps out and all there, see how it looks. But they got that more respectable. So these updates do things, folks. It's just you either, one, have had to send in the documentation telling them there's a problem, and two, when they actually see the problem, boy, that helps to get them trying to figure out what's wrong with the elevation. So now St. Louis, I'm going to have to remove I've got phenomenal St. Louis Lambert scenery. Going to have to remove it to see how the elevations work there, because 1-1 would be 2-9, I believe it is a substantial uphill. Well, 1-1. Well, let's see. Wait a minute. That direction would be 2-9. A substantial uphill run that you can visibly notice from the interstate going by it. So curious if that's actually there. I'm sure it is. The way I've run into these airports, I'm sure it is. It's just a lot of developers flatten things. So, but anyway, we're on our way, folks, through 27,000 for 36,000. Enjoy the ride. Welcome aboard, folks. There's Blytheville, Paducah, Bowling Green, Jackson, is that? Tennessee. Yes, I had to think where we were there on the map. And Memphis. Join in, folks. Fun little hop over to Fayetteville, Bentonville, Springboro, Springdale. I forget. Is it Springboro, Springdale, Arkansas? Where Northwest Arkansas Airport is located. And if you know those towns, you might be going, those sound familiar. Have you ever seen, you've probably never been in this place. I mean, it's just a little department store called Walmart. You know, you've probably never been in them. That's where they are. So, headquarters, I should say. They're all over the country with distribution centers and obviously stores for you to go in. So we're on our way, folks. Now, if you look at that estimated time, we are 45 minutes out. Matt Air. Awesome. Well, you know, hey. You know, I can take that as long as it's not fertilizing. Anyway, but yeah, awesome. I'm glad to hear that, Matt Air 1997. Welcome in. I hope to keep you entertained with that fun job of mulching a yard. Ugh. Thank gosh I don't have to do this yard. Well, I have a little section. Takes, as Hawker would like to say, all of 30 seconds to mow it. Come on, it takes me 60. Be real. So, but anyway, glad to have you all aboard. Enjoy the ride. For a few minutes here, I'm going to kick on a couple songs here and use the lav. I'll be right back. All right, folks, we're back with you. What'd I miss? Ooh, thunderstorms. No. All right, let me back this down just a smidgen. All right. Let's talk through this arrival here, folks, for those that weren't with us when we pre-briefed. First off, you know what? Let's be nice since it is a short flight. Get the seatbelts off for those folks back there. Here, let's take a look real quick at X-Planes. One of the big things with XP12, besides a scenery update, were these volumetric Austin language, the creator of X-Plane, volumetric clouds. I must say, they look good. Look really good. That's why I said I can't wait to see this introduction of Cirrus. That I am waiting for. This could really, granted we're in thunderstorm territory, but be interesting to see. All right, let's get to it, shall we? The arrival brief. I'm going to use Sim Toolkit if you don't mind. All right, so here it is. You can see what lies ahead of us. Nice batch of storms. We'll see if the radar is picking up any of this. The only bad thing so far, and folks, if you know X-Plane and know how to make it show it in the proper coloring, being the yellows, the reds, like you see it here. The greens, the yellows, the reds. Would love to hear what I need to do setting-wise. All right, so, but anyway, let's pull up NavGraph. Actually, let's go SkyVector first. Okay, so here's our route on SkyVector, folks. Another free program, and you can easily tie this in here. And you can see your route in World IFR with all the airways. Obviously, you're not going to see the ground. The low or World VFR, where you get the terrain and all. You get a feel for what you're flying over. However, what we need to know, and I'll put it in the chat, ETAR KXNA. All right, so 270 at 11, 10 miles, and still no set ceiling in the Northwest Airport there, Northwest Arkansas Airport. However, look at this in the remarks. Lightning distant northeast. So it's getting close. All right, so we'll get rid of SkyVector. Pull up NavGraph. Everything's out of whack here, folks, because we had to reload it. I'm going to switch this also to the VFR map. At one time I heard this charts program, when they went from the old charts program to this, they eventually wanted to work the weather into it. That will be awesome, but Sim Toolkit gives you that already. All right, but anyway, we're coming up to ARG, which is Walnut Ridge, Arkansas. Hang on a second. Let me clear this up a little. Okay. All right, so let's look at it, shall we? First off, there are no standard terminal arrival routings into this airport. It's small, folks. However, we are shooting an ILS. Now the ILS we're shooting is for runway 34 right. Let me kind of do this, but I like to say 3 parts. Okay, across the top here gives you the airport information, name, Fayetteville, Springville, Rogers, Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas. You get the point. We're on the ILS or the localizer for 34 right. Okay, here's those frequencies across the top from Razorback Approach, Memphis, and then the tower. Or if the tower's closed, it's common traffic. Okay, we'll get rid of that so we focus. All right, so the big thing we need to know, 111.55. That's the localizer here. It's identified India Fox Bravo Sierra. Here's the Morse coding if you ever wanted to listen to it. You'll hear it tapped out. Final approach course, 339 degrees. So, and then at Rugi, which is right here at roughly 7 miles from the runway, we need to be 3,000 feet on the glide slope, coming in for, coming down, which is actually 1,727 feet above the ground. Okay, for this airport, decision altitude occurs at 1,473 feet MSL. Mean sea level, or think of it this way, above sea level. Okay, now in the looking out the window and how far the ground is actually down, we call that above ground, 200 feet. At that moment, if we cross it, we can't see the runway, we execute a missed approach, which is what you see drawn out here and discussed here. So, and then we'll discuss how we're going to put this into the McDo here in a minute. Okay, again, here's the missed approach back to Lindsay. Shows you what we're going to do. And then transition level, like all in the U.S., actually almost all of North America, 18,000. Unlike Europe, and I'm not trying to poke fun at you guys over at Europe, very difficult to keep up on it because every country changes it, and then sometimes every airport changes that level. It's you got to keep up on it. Then your requirements here. The big one though is when you're coming down on the ILS glide slope and you're looking at your gauges, when you look up to land, because at 200 feet you're visual now. And you're aiming for those big white spots on the runway. Off to your, we'll find out here where they are, you'll see PAPIs or VATSIMs, depending on the approach lighting they've got. That may be different, telling you you may be high, may be low. When you go visual, you transition to that to come in right. So, because I only would then use it for the localizer to make sure I'm squared up on the center line. But for everything else, glides, vertically, I would use the PAPI VATSIM system. Okay, so what is the procedure here? So what we're going to do, we're going to come to Razorback here. It's identified 16.4 RZS, Romeo Zulu Charlie. Again, here's the Morse code. We're going to come over that, and I'm going to turn us south. Well, maybe south, but probably parallel. So, probably 159. So we're paralleling it. And then once we come about war, I'll turn us in to intercept. So I may fly this at that point off the heading. We'll already be controlling speed and all of that, so we roll in at a good speed to land. Okay, then we'll come in, cross Lindsay, 13 miles out. Well, let's say this. If we come in over Warrior, we'll be almost little over 19 miles out. Lindsay's a little under 13. little under 7 at Rugi, again 3000 MSL. Zagan is going to be very close to the mist. Oh no, it's 3 miles out. So the 1.6 is going to be pretty close. Okay, now the next part of this gives you your verticals. So Lindsay at around 3,400 feet, but here's Rugi. I like to say if you see that Pirates treasure map X marking the spot, that's where you got to be on glide slope at that altitude. And folks, there could be a time when you're coming in, it says you're on glide slope and you're not at 3,000 feet. Then it's time to start thinking, what's wrong? Checking your altimeter, checking radar altimeter to see how close we are, because you can interpolate that, folks. I'll show you an easy way to do that. Okay, come up here. Okay, it's 3,000 feet or 1,727 feet above the ground. So your radar altimeter may read this, so you'd be okay. Then I'd be worried about my altimeter, and hopefully the first officer's is on track. Or you may have to find a place to go visual. But anyway, come in, we'll be visual anyway at this point. So Zakin, and then our missed approach point, roughly in this area. Okay, for us, we're going to come in right around 130, I'll bet. And that's going to be, let's just say 710 feet-ish. Yeah, around 710 feet per minute. Got a Mauser for our approach lighting if needed. Pappies will be on the left-hand side. There's our missed approach. Now these are the minimums that allow us to be able to shoot the approach. We have to have 200 feet AGL and a half-mile visibility, or an RVR of 24 or better. The number one, if we're using a flight director, autopilot, or HUD, to decision altitude, we're allowed an RVR of 18. So that would all be in the METAR, folks, and that would tell us yay or nay. Okay, and then when we start losing things, you see how it goes up. All right, so there's our charts. And we are about to cross ARG. So let's figure up our landing, because there is our top of descent right here. Matter of fact, I'll bet the FMC's up. They haven't yet, but they will be here shortly. Let's get it figured up. I'm going to get a METAR here real quick. See if we got a NATIS. Nope, not available. Okay. So we'll get the weather. Destination. And folks, they're doing this in the plane too. Okay, we'll return. All right, new METAR. And for MCI, so we'll go here, 270 at 11, 10 miles visibility, few clouds, 5,500, 31 degrees, 2983. All right, so let's go to the landing. You're getting the same information? Yes, we are. So I'm going to go to the perf page, next, and next. So I can fill this in. Real quick, let's put in 29.83. You've got to do it just like you see it here. Temperature is 31. And let's put in 270 at 11. That's 270, just like you see the formatting, /11. Okay, transition level, we already confirmed from our charts, is 18,000. All right, we talked about MDA. If you don't mind, we're all good here. The only thing we got to determine, we'll go medium on the brakes. Let me pull up charts real quick. .802, okay. All right, so from charts, let me pull back. We're getting close real quick here. We first take a look at our airport. Okay, so I got an idea what it looks like. Coming in 3-4 right. We'll probably end off at Bravo 2, and if we're good, we'll get off at B3, but probably Bravo 2. Okay. Reason I say that is, like, just kind of looking at the runway here. When I hit compute, we do it all right, we'll come off about midfield. Bravo 3. So somewhere between Bravo 3 and Bravo 2. Okay. Over here, we got to worry about our MDA, our descents. Okay. Now, how I figure out which one goes where, you can only put one in. MDA, I go with MSL right here. DH, I go with the H, and that would be the 200. We'll go 1473. Guess what, folks? It's the same altitude. It'll say the same thing as we come in. VAP is 129. Calling it 130. We'll give it the 1 knot. 5%, and everything looks good. All right, so let's get ready for descent, folks. Okay, so we are now 30 miles out. All right, so let's all right, so altitude, wait a minute, let me get rid of charts. All right, so the checklist I'm running says we got to check to make sure landing elevation is auto. Landing elevation is auto, right on the numbers. Arrivals are in, performance set in, winds set. Actually, we can go here. Here, function, update the winds. Okay, 23 miles out now. 20 miles, we'll set our altitude. That's actually a good thought. What do I want it to be? 3,000. Minimum safe is 4,500, 3,200. Let's set 5,000. And look at that, folks. We are showing rain, but just not the right colors. Okay, and let's manage for, oh, I'm doing the wrong switch. Sorry, folks. There we go. Manage descent. Now we'll activate the approach phase probably just before we swing in or over Razor, when I've got control of the speed. I'm controlling what's our settings. That's when we'll do it. Steve099, thanks for the follow. Welcome aboard. I hope you enjoy the arrival into Northwest Arkansas. And I'll tell you this much, I'm looking forward to seeing you on future flights. Hey folks, if you're out there in the sound of my voice, you know, there's still a lot of airports you could fly out of. Join us and come in. Looks like we have a aircraft following us from Nashville. Hang on, let me get back up here and update my map. Oh, I lost track of him. Where'd he go? Well, anyway, we did have an aircraft depart with us, a Delta flight, and not sure where he is, but hey, you could come up from Joplin, Springfield, Hot Springs, Fort Smith if you want, Memphis. Join us. I'd love to have you coming in with us here into Northwest Arkansas. Looks, as you can tell, the radar is beginning to light up. I wish I could get it to the right colors, but I don't know what to do for that one. Other than get active sky. Alright, so I am going to go into, how far out is Razorback? 94. We do some quick math here, folks. Alright, we're at 33, and we want to get down to 5, so that is 28 times 3, 84 miles. And so 94 miles, so I am going to bump us up to about a 2,300 feet per minute descent. I know some of the guys out there know how to kick this into the FPA instead of vertical speed. I don't know how to do that. Nor do I know which one to use. And now is time for the seatbelts. Get those lights on. All right, here we go, folks. Starting to work our way through the storms, headed towards Fayetteville. So much improved, the clouds here in X-Plane. Only minor note I'd like to make that I wish X-Plane could do default. I just got a feeling it would be a huge performance hit on computers getting these clouds more together, because we know these are thunderstorms. We know it's a solid layer of clouds, not layered like we have here. But I know that's when active sky comes into play. So, oh, would that just be grand to have that for weather? Default with the airplane. But, you know, We're paying a whole heck of a lot less than other flight simulators out there, and we get dynamite. You know, so I mean, it's awesome, and love it. So if I had to say anything, that would be one thing I'd love to see. Whether, like I said, it's doable for all systems, not just the mega systems that run it, but the little ones like I used to run where your frame rates were like barely above 20, barely above any, you know, sometimes negative. So I get that. You got to balance out what you're going to do. And if you want that, get Active Sky. And I'm here to tell you, Active Sky in the past was phenomenal. I've never tried it in X-Plane. I've also heard X-Enviro. I have to look into that to see if I want to put that in here. I'm thinking about it. All right, I'm going to actually get up here on the nose. Try to remember to turn off the weather here or turn off the music as we get in after this song. All right, we are approaching 18,000 feet. Again, Steve 099, thank you. Not see fog disappear when you get to a certain altitude above the top altitude. That's an interesting comment. I'm not sure what that means. I've been in fog on here. It's not been overly dramatic, but I would like it to get, well, again, it's all, I don't know if the METARs do it any justice to help out the weather engines and with fog and all. Because like I've watched it come into the airport I work at on the Illinois side of St. Louis, and it just starts, and as time progresses, thickens, and oh my gosh, we're all of a sudden barely above minimums, if that. So, but yeah, welcome aboard, sir. Thank you for the first time chat. Look forward to seeing you on the future flights. And by the way, tomorrow, as a heads up, folks. Oh, that's okay. I'll go another route here. We're looking tomorrow to be airborne from, I'm going to do a little retro flying tomorrow. We're going to pull out the 3-holer. And no, not the MD-11, DC-10s, 727. We're going to run from Vegas to St. Louis in it for TWA. Near and dear airline to my heart. Miss that airline so much. I wish it could have come through deregulation, and I mean, it made it farther than most, and still be here today. I mean, granted, it is still here in the memory through American, which technically is American West, but that's a story you guys can dig up and figure out for yourselves. But they kept the name. But anyway.
18,000 feet.
So we're 8 minutes out, folks, at 18,000 feet. Let's verify the seatbelt signs are indeed on with storms. Wing lights are on. Transition, we're setting the altimeter right now. $2983. Okay, across the board, we're set. And but yeah, I truly miss TWA. So the 727 will, yes, yeah, I love 727 is a nice airplane. I really like it. Flown on it many a times. Matter of fact, one of my funniest, not funny, but it was TWA flight out of St. Louis. And I want to say it was one of those with only like 20, 30 people on board. So you knew they could delay it and have no trouble saying, fine, cancel. Um, and I could hear the fire alarm. This, being an airport fire, being a fireman with the airports, folks, certain sounds. All of a sudden they say we have a maintenance. I'm like, sound like you're having troubles with the fire alarm system, fire systems with the engines. So 30 of us were allowed to get on back then, and it was just fun. Whoa, we're rolling through here pretty good. So yeah, fun time on a 727. Okay, I could do a couple things here if I wanted. I forgot to turn these off on departure. Even though they reset on their own, I just like to do it myself. Let's get the speed brakes going. My bad. Here I am thinking I'm setting the speed, and I set the heading. We're rolling back on course. Getting into the rain, folks. Getting into the rain.
$10,000 feet.
Okay. Missed it by one song. Alright, as soon as we level off at 5,000, I'm going to decide whether we go direct or fly like we said. I'm going to go into managed.
You love me! You really love me!
Steve07, welcome in and thank you for the subscription. Wow, we sure appreciate that, sir. Thank you for coming aboard and supporting us with a subscription. Great to have you. Hope we can do justice on these flights for you. Appreciate the support. Wow. This has been a really fun flight here going from Nashville over to Northwest Arkansas. All right, so I am going to do that. We're going direct. Oh, yeah, I guess it would like my speed brakes down. Okay, well, before we make this call to go direct, let's go to medium, turn the brake fans on, and we're going to go direct. Lindsay. And Lindsay, we said, would be 3,400, which we're going to set. All right. Okay, now that I've got control of the speed, it's all on me. I am going to go ahead and activate the approach. Or I should say, basically it just takes it from the descent and puts it to, as you saw, the numbers. It's called activate the approach phase. Folks, if you forget to do it, it automatically does do it at some point in your descent, if you get in close enough where flaps start coming down and all. So we're going to go ahead, put in about a half notch of flaps, and I'm going to go ahead and slow us down to 220, 230. And Sid Lindsay is 13 miles. All right, I don't have the airport yet in sight. Oops, sorry about that. Move the mic. Don't have airport yet in sight. And verify altimeter. It's 300. 2. These are now 300. Okay. It's at 300 at 7. Did the temperature go up anymore? 2. 29. These things happen en route, folks, and they adjust your landing rates. And they would do this. Okay, that's 3,400 feet. Get those spoilers down.
2,500.
And it's time to go. Sir? Start slowing while level. Sir, yeah. Because I didn't turn LS back on. There we go. All right, let's go approach. All right, looks like local light open. Laps 1. Okay, and all right. Oh, look out there, folks. I think I see a runway. What we're doing is allowing the airplane in straight and level flight here to slow itself down. We're at flaps 2, spoilers armed, seat belts readied. Let's go up top here. Tell the lights are on. Okay, everything's good. Sure the crew's ready. Glide slope, and we are over. Getting about ready to cross. Be at just like I said, about 7 miles. That's when we'll deploy the landing.
2,000.
Okay, let's set it VF +5. Gear down, flaps 3.
Gear down.
Okay, and flaps are going full. So again, welcome to Flying with Mike. I'm going to try to this real system. It's not going to. Plane's mine.
1,000.
1,000.
Okay. Steep there. Look. Bit of a wind here. Let's get back
500.
center line here.
500.
Bit of flying.
$400.
400.
100 above.
$300.
300.
Stable.
Minimum.
$200.
200.
Gonna have a long
100.
landing.
100.
50.
50. 40.
30.
30.
20. Retard.
20.
Retard. 10.
10.
That was a nice thump in here. Didn't think we'd make midfield. Well, I was going to try and put in a guess, but I failed to do so. Things were just coming too fast. Oops, welcome to Northwest Arkansas Airport. Hope you enjoyed it, and All right, so let's taxi in. Quick taxi checks here. Lights off. The line. Much, okay. Come down here, go to our terrain radar. And let's get two. And we'll turn the radar and the potential wind shear off. Alright, so we'll just taxi basically all the way to the end here, folks. Curious to see if they have the terminal here. If not, we'll go to the cargo ramp. Strokes. And while we're at it, 8 can start. I think they term. Well, that's kind of a bummer. They don't have a parking chart for this airport. Kind of, see, have. All right, where do I want to park? Oh, let's see here, folks. That kind of looks like RJ-8 type stuff. Oh, this is a bigger airport than I am. Imagine. Wow. Light aware doesn't help either. It's to where we want to go. How about we go right here on A11? Gotta turn my lights off. Anything else? Brake fans, okay. Only parking here because it looks like it's set up for us, but it could be an E-gate. Okay, parking brake set. Anti-ice is and never was on. All right, we're going to turn off engine number 2 first. Grab the bleed. Brakes appear to be still a little bit on the side. So we'll keep them with brake fans going. And we are shut down, folks. Welcome into the airport here in Northwest Arkansas. Chalks in. Did I just turn? So we have the jetway up. See how well it does with the pumps off. Okay. See how it holds. Because technically that is the best way to cool your brakes. In chocks, brakes off. So that way you're not up against metal, keeping it warm and all. There's actually air now flowing through them to hopefully cool them down. Alright folks, but again, welcome in here. You can see with the auto function on the doors, they're slowly opening up. So there it goes. And the peeps are beginning to work their way out. Final checks here, beacon is off and seatbelts off. Elapsed time from the time we pushed, an hour and 15 minutes. We're here, granted late, so great flight, great all in all. Let's pull back air and see what they record. Alright, so Mac Air, have the feet per minute. Right here is what they're recording us at 276 feet per minute. Just simply stop and file. And folks, that's how easy it is to log your flight time with a VA. A lot of VAs are to this point where they use these ACARS programs and they filter into the databases for each of the pilots and all of that. So really, and they're going to even be better here soon. So if you're interested in a VA, interested in other people with common likes in flying, check them out at Mac Air. Simply as this, just type in Mac Air in the chat room. Just don't put that number 1 there. Whoops. There we go. Check out that link. Check them out, folks. They're great. They got 4 divisions. Everyone comes into the open. Then you have a charter division you can join, a historical division, and an open division, and a cargo. Sorry, 5. And geared for everyone, folks. But open is everyone. So pro division is just like it says. Pro makes you fly, you learn, and fly with instructor pilots to help you improve your flying. So check them out, folks. Good airline. I really like it. They have about any aircraft you want to fly. They're very open to basically, if you say you pick an Airbus flight, and I can already hear you, I don't make Airbuses. Well, then fly a 737. Fly it, well, I don't know if you can fly a DC-9 in open division, but still, fly anything with a single aisle for the other than the RJs. If you like the heavies, fly, they're really open to allowing what gets through and what doesn't. So that's why I like it. They're not too overbearing on you. So, but anyway, it's up to you, folks. You can check them out. Got the link there in the chat room, or anytime in a chat room, just type the exclamation mark Mac Air and it will get you over to it. Okay, speaking of flights, let's take a look at how this one actually stacked up in Sim Toolkit. This is the main reason I love this program. Now, Volanta has similarities to this, just not, I don't think, at least, to the detail Sim Toolkit takes you down to. First off, you can see we got 293 feet a minute. Okay, so the two were recording pretty different. I don't know the parameters each goes off of. Finishing the flight, okay. Now, why I like this is this feature here. You can go in any flight you've flown, click on it, and look at the landing data. Look at what you did, look at what you did now versus then, whatever you want to do. Here's today's flight. View the details. Quick synopsis. It was an hour and 23 minutes, 370 miles, blah, blah, blah. Here's the landing. We landed with about a 1.5 G. You know, kind of looked like that when I looked out the window. 293, 132 on the speed. A little fast, but we'll take it. Really good. But this takes it a next level by showing you where you touched down, which we already knew was long, what your metric numbers were, so you can kind of gauge, okay, so this one we landed long, fast, pitch, probably pretty close. We weren't close to tail strike range, but, you know, could roll all of that what our headings should have been. Not too bad off on that. And, of course, the vertical speed, feet per minute touchdown. But then over here, you get a map. Okay. And it did it off the left side. You got to sometimes watch that. Oh, well. In this case, it's not overly bad, other than the fact I'm 611 feet off the center line. That's because I'm supposed to be over here. Nope, I'm not worried about that, folks. Anyway, real quick for newbies to the aviation world. Touchdown. Okay, where you see the blue dot here, that's the touchdown for that runway. Over here, oh, they got it as 3.5. This white line, that's your transit or threshold. Every 500 feet, you have marks. Just one, tell you how far down the runway you are, and two, where they end. Right here is the end of what's called the landing zone. That's where pilots aim to get the plane down in. The shorter the runway, the better you are to be in that, because then you have more runway to obviously get it stopped on a very short run. We didn't do too bad, folks. But we did know a landing was going to be long, and we were 5, 1, 15, 2, little 2,200 feet down the runway is not far-fetched. And it shows we're off the center line. Now, where these hash marks come into play more importantly, say you're still rolling in the hundreds, they do the exact opposite at the other and tell you how much you have left. There's also black signs along the runway. They're called runway distance remaining marks. They also help you, but so do the markings on the runway. All right, here's the terminal. Here's where we're at. It doesn't show it, obviously, but I'm trying to see. Is that Allegiant? Nope. This looks like an RJ lot. Not depicted well here, but that's fine. So, yeah. Okay, so that's why I like Sim Toolkit. And again, if I haven't said it enough, folks, it's free. So, yeah, don't hesitate. It's free. It's a good tool to have, to teach, to set up flights, to learn. It's just overall a really good program. Give you another look here. All right, I am going to button up the airplane here. I'm going to just do it the easy way. Close. Close and close. parking brake on. And come in here and take off the chocks. Okay, what we're going to do, this is something X-Plane can do very easily that the other simulators out there can't. Not saying it's undoable, it's not possible. I'm just saying can't out of the box. Now, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We're still kind of in a beta transition phase here in X-Plane, so sometimes everything has to be set right with the plane, and that means doors closed, chocks off, brakes set, things like that. The other sims, you have to download a program, install it. Okay, once it's installed, it's good to go, but you have to start it where you want to start your replay, and then you can obviously only go back that far, and you have to have the aircraft, I think, and guys that use the other sims can tell me, I think you have to have the aircraft fully back to at least engines on and all of that stuff. I don't know. I don't fly with the other sims anymore. A lot of reasons. We don't get into it anymore here. But yeah, I only fly X-Plane. All right, but anyway, what you do here, and again, this comes when you purchase X-Plane 11, well, 12. If you have X-Plane 11, it's there. You just go, not plugins, flight, toggle replay. Oh yeah, and if you're on VATSIM, if you haven't disconnected, you just saw it disconnects you. My bad, but it does that. So let's go backwards in time. Maybe. Uh-oh. Oh, and this is one of those times, folks, when it's not going to work. Oh, well, it happens. So what I'm going to do, yep, it just crashed to desktop. Let me get a screen up here. We're going to go ahead and end it today. Hang on. And you know what? Let's do it this way. So let's go ahead and call this flight completed today. Wishing we could go further. Oh, wait. And we'll just pick up tomorrow. 727 X-Plane 11 will be, because as far as I know, folks, it is not available as of yet in X-Plane 12. The FJC or FJ FlyJ Sim 727 is not available as of yet in X-Plane 12. So, but X-Plane 11 is just as much fun. Sometimes even a little bit on the, and let's use a word you all are going to go, that is more English, funner. So anyway, folks, hey, thanks for being a part of Flying with Mike. It has been a pleasure flying from Nashville to Northwest Arkansas, and hope you all enjoyed, maybe learned something. If you did, just realize this isn't for the real world. This is entertainment only, and it's simulated world. All right, so for Flying with Mike, thank you for, taking time, as Mad Air 1997 said, using it for entertainment while he laid mulch. Thankfully, not fertilizer, because there probably was a bunch of fertilizer in this stream. And I hope you all have a great rest of your Thursday. One thing, it's Thursday means it's Friday Eve. Tomorrow is Friday. That's right. A lot of people look forward to that day. So talk to y'all later. Steve 099, I will not remiss. Thanks for both the follow and the subscription. Welcome to the family. If y'all have not done it, check our Discord channel out. Feel free to come in, join, and love to have you aboard there. And we will see you tomorrow. Hopefully, God willing, 1600 Zulu, do the calculation for your time zone. For now, thanks for flying with Mike. God bless. Have a great Friday Eve. Whoop, wrong song. See you tomorrow, folks. God bless. What I'm gonna do, folks, send you over to Melvin Leroy as he's firing up a GA aircraft. Hope you enjoy his stream. Great guy. Enjoy the flight.